Hey there, and welcome back to another episode of Am I the Asshole Chronicles, where we explore some of the most heated Reddit stories. Grab your hot cocoa because today's story involves family, holiday plans, and one flooded basement. Christmas, a time for joy, togetherness, and family drama. In today's AITA story, we dive into a holiday conflict that's about much more than just groceries. Let's hear it out. I, 18F, do all the shopping in the house. It's been my job since I was like 12. My dad hates going shopping, so I never ask him. For Christmas, I am cooking. I had a very specific grocery list because I'm making things that I haven't made before. My parents didn't let me go shopping yesterday, so I had to go today. My dad said he would grab certain things to help me out, and I said okay. I gave him a list. I really needed chicken thighs and blocks of cheese. He came home with ground chicken and only mozzarella cheese that's pre-shredded. I told my mom about it because this isn't the first time he's done this, and it's made me upset. She got mad at me for being upset with him because we never ask him for anything. I have asked him multiple times to get things for me, and he either gets the wrong thing, doesn't get anything I need, or complains. For example, I wanted to go shopping before my wisdom tooth removal. I had a list of things with pictures because he said he could grab it, and certain brands make me sick. He got 4/20th things on the list and said everything else was not necessary. He went with my money and said that. Now my mom's upset with me because she is in debt from always buying stuff for the house. But the whole reason that's happened is because of my dad's weaponized incompetence. So, am I the asshole for being mad at me, dad, and telling my mom? TLDR, dad got the wrong things at the store after getting a list with pictures. I'm mad because it has happened multiple times, and mom is mad because I told her. So here's the deal. Our protagonist, an 18-year-old daughter, has been the family's go-to shopper since she was 12. Last Christmas, she was taking on the responsibility of cooking, crafting a careful grocery list for her meal prep. But when her dad offers to help and take over some shopping duties, things go hilariously wrong. Instead of chicken thighs, he brings ground chicken. And the block of cheese she needed? Replaced with pre-shredded mozzarella, not ideal when you're aiming for perfection in holiday recipes. Frustrated, she vents to her mom about the repeated mishaps. And here's where things get tricky. This isn't the first time her dad has done this. Ignoring lists, bringing home the wrong items, or outright refusing to get everything she needs. Is it just forgetfulness? Or something more deliberate like weaponized incompetence? Instead of siding with her daughter, mom gets upset. She points out that dad isn't asked to do much, and yet here he is, botching the simplest tasks. On top of that, mom reveals she's financially strained because she's always the one buying things for the household. The blame game intensifies. This isn't the first time dad has dropped the ball. Remember that time the daughter needed groceries before her wisdom tooth removal? Even with a list and pictures, dad bought only 4 out of 20 items and deemed the rest unnecessary. Using her money, no less. Now here's the big question. Is our protagonist the asshole for calling out her dad's behavior? Or is it justified frustration after years of dealing with his apparent refusal to contribute effectively to the household? One thing's for sure, communication and shared responsibility are key to a happy household. But sometimes those holiday frustrations bubble to the surface, and this family seems to have plenty to unpack. What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. Now, let's move on to the next story in this video. In our next story, we dive into a Reddit story where a young woman is stuck in a tricky family dynamic. As her mom's boyfriend becomes more involved, the line between helpful advice and overstepping boundaries starts to blur. Here's the full Reddit post for context. I, 20F have been starting to get really annoyed by my mom's new boyfriend. At first he was cool, but now I feel as though he is overstepping. My parents got divorced only a year and a half ago, and my mom and her boyfriend have been together for roughly 6 months now. Of course, I am happy that she found someone new, but his actions are bothering me. It started after she told him about an argument we had, and he randomly told me to be graceful to those around me. During my teenage years, my mom and I would argue a lot, but it was nothing out of the normal mother-teenage-daughter conflicts. I'll admit, I do still have a bit of resentment towards her for some of the things that she has done or said, but I am working on it with therapy. We are good for the most part, but sometimes she will have an attitude, and I will use attitude back at her, which she probably told him and prompted him to say that. Either way, though, I think it is none of his business, the arguments I go through with my mom. The next thing that bothered me was on Thanksgiving when I was upset because of an argument with my BF and needed some extra time to collect myself before going down to the table. My mom called me over the phone to come, and I didn't go immediately, but I said, give me a few more minutes. It was then when I got a knock at the door and I said, who is it? Please don't come in right now. And her BF burst through the door anyway and kept telling me to come downstairs right now. That rubbed me the wrong way completely, and I was even more upset and hated being downstairs after that. The last thing that happened to him was this evening when we went out to eat for Xmas Eve, and we had all finished eating. So I slipped away to the bathroom to check my phone. My boss was asking me about something important, so I continued replying when I got back to the table. It wasn't even 1 minute of me still being on my phone when he told me to put it away. I said, I will, and continued to text because I was just aggravated. My parents raised me to have manners, and they never banned me from using my phone completely at the table, just not excessively, which I knew not to do anyways, and that was not what I was doing. The rest of the time I just stayed quiet and couldn't wait to go home. When I got home, I told her to tell him to stop telling me what to do, to which she replied, you tell him, and she seemed mad. Wow. Okay. Meet the Redditor, a 20-year-old woman who's feeling overwhelmed by her mom's new boyfriend. Their relationship is still fresh, just 6 months in, while her mom's divorce is barely a year and a half old. At first, everything seemed fine, but slowly, things began to change. It started subtly. Her mom shared details of a mother-daughter disagreement with her boyfriend, and out of nowhere, he decided to offer advice, telling her to be graceful. A strange comment, considering the context. Then came Thanksgiving. After a tough argument with her boyfriend, she asked for a few extra minutes to collect herself. Instead of respecting her space, the mom's boyfriend barged into her room, demanding she come downstairs immediately. Understandably, this only made things worse. And just when things couldn't get more uncomfortable, on Christmas Eve, he chastised her for briefly checking her phone after dinner. Though she planned to put it away, his unnecessary comment rubbed her the wrong way. Fed up, she finally confronted her mom about the boyfriend's behavior. Her mom's response? You tell him. It was clear that her frustration was going unnoticed. So, was she wrong for standing up for herself? Should her mom's boyfriend step back? Or is this just the growing pains of a new family dynamic? Let us know your thoughts below. Now, let's get the third story. Picture this. It's the holiday season, and our storyteller, a 38-year-old woman, is hosting her 68-year-old mom for Christmas. Everything is going according to plan until disaster strikes. Back home, mom's pipes freeze, flooding her basement just before Christmas. Here's what OP shared on Reddit. I'll read it out for you, so let's take a moment to go through this. "38F. I am celebrating Christmas with my mom. 68F. My brother 47M and his family. My mom flew in from out of state, and we are driving to a meetup location to spend time with my brother's family, a place in the mountains we all enjoy just for the holidays. All of us live hours away, our mom being the furthest on the opposite coast. My brother and I are several hours away by car. This year we received the bad news that while my mom has been at my place, her pipes froze and flooded her basement. She is upset. Understandably, I helped her get everything started and have her insurance, a cleanup team, and a general contractor all working on her place while she is with me. She then broached the topic that she wanted to extend her week stay to 2 weeks or more. I said no, I need to get back to my regular routine and get ready to return to work. She's welcome to stay here as originally planned, which is until Saturday. Then she said she may ask to ride back with my brother and his family to their home in another state, opposite direction than me. She refused to ask him until Christmas, so Elle gave my brother a heads up last night so he has a chance to speak with his wife. I also told him that he's under no obligation to say yes, as she is still welcome to stay with me until Saturday, and her insurance company will be footing the bill for most of her stay at a hotel and meals. Big if, her residence is uninhabitable, which we do not know at this time. He told me he didn't have room to take her back with him, 3 people in his car and no room for a 4th, assuming luggage is the issue. That I should let her stay with me because she's lonely. I told him I understood that, but I'm not wrong for wanting to cap my time with her at the 1 week originally planned. He had left that text on send. My mom can be a challenging personality, and with this unfortunate development, she's even more difficult. I love my mom, but I'm tired. I want my house back and don't want to be criticized or complained at. I refuse to allow my lonely mother to extend her stay with me, despite the recent damages to an unknown state of her home. AITA for prioritizing my space and personal downtime over my mother's emotional needs. Yikes. So, mom's house is now a soggy mess, but OP, being the proactive host, jumped into action, arranging for insurance, a cleanup team, and contractors. Crisis managed, right? Well, not so fast. Mom drops the bombshell. She wants to extend her stay by 2 weeks or more. OP? Not on board. She explains that her holiday hosting timeline was always capped at 1 week, and she's eager to return to her routine after Christmas. Here's where it gets tricky. OP's brother chimes in, saying she should let mom stay longer because she's lonely, but he's not offering his place either. His car is already packed with his own family and luggage for the return trip. Meanwhile, mom's insurance might cover a hotel if her house is truly uninhabitable, but mom insists on staying with family instead, despite having options. OP is torn between her mother's emotional needs and her own mental health. So, what do you think? Is OP wrong here? In the end, OP holds her ground. She's willing to host until Saturday as planned, but isn't budging on extending mom's stay. She even gave her brother a heads up in case mom tried to stay with him, but OP can't help feeling conflicted. Is she the asshole for wanting her space back after hosting during the holidays and dealing with mom's challenging personality? All right, now it's your turn. What's your verdict? Is OP being selfish, or is she justified in setting boundaries? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more AITA stories, and stay tuned for the next one, because you won't believe what we've got coming up next. Thanks for watching. See you next time on Amy the Asshole Chronicles.